From the 1940s until the 1970s, pinball was banned in many major U.S. cities.
Not too many people realize it actually came over from the Renaissance. The original game was called Bagatelle, and a known gangster from Chicago brought it over here, added the pins and the metal balls, hence the name pinball. Even though we use very few pins in pinballs these days, for some reason the name just stuck. It goes back as early as 1931, is arguably the first year of pinball. So this is 1933, Chicago's World Fair. This was truly a game of chance, and this is one of the reasons that pinball became illegal in the United States for well over 30 years.
On July 1st, 1971, New Orleans District Attorney Jim Garrison was arrested for accepting bribes of up to $1,500 a month to protect illegal gambling in the city. 9 other men were also arrested, facing $70,000 in fines and a possible 5-year sentence for helping to transport the pinball machines. 2 of the men arrested were policemen.
You're talking pre-World War II, right after the Great Depression, and they had just legalized alcohol. So now they have to have something that's got to be evil, and pinballs seem to be deemed it.
In Hartford, Connecticut, in 1959, the state police conducted a raid that involved the arrest of 35 people and the confiscation of 44 pinball machines. Those arrested faced a $500 fine, a year in jail, or possibly both.
You see that the flippers are backwards to what we know today. This one here, if it was sold here in the United States, it was housed illegally, it was played illegally. Not only was it subject to confiscation, but the owner of the machine was subject to jail time.
On August 6, 1943, a man named Mana Shadid was arrested for operating a pinball machine outside of his delicatessen. During his trial, pinball machines were brought in to prove that it was gambling. However, the jury enjoyed playing pinball and did not view it as gambling.
They're saying it's a game of chance. You're gambling because you can win free games on these machines.
In 1948, a cigar store owner was arrested for owning a pinball machine after an undercover patrolman won a free game. The owner was arrested for unlawful possession of a gambling machine.
And if you look at the artwork, it was totally designed for men.
For men, yeah.
You want to talk about a sexist thing? Look at the artwork on pinball, especially in the early years. That's racy for today. These were all in men's establishments. Women were not allowed.
In Honolulu, July 1959, 22 people were arrested for permitting gambling on pinballs.
The flippers that we know today in I believe it's 1953, as a cost cutter, they took out the 6 flippers, took them to the bottom and said, well, at least it covers the entire playfield, inadvertently turning it into a game of skill. And that's the leg that Roger Sharp took and stood on as he fought it all the way to the Supreme Court. So that's when pinball started becoming legalized again.
Sharp proved to the city council that pinball was a game of skill by calling his own flipper shot and making it.